Hello there and welcome to episode 15 of my playthrough of the 2018 Harebrained Schemes BattleTech game. Today I'm going to be doing a stock taking episode which will entail me just having a quick look around the mech bay and just to talk about where I'm currently at, and also be discussing a specific topic which is how to prep for the Flashpoint missions. We'll then be doing a random mission. Managed to find a really interesting, good mission today, I think, or I hope. Anyway, obviously there is a variable aspect to the random missions, but it should be a good one, I hope. So, I've not really got much to talk about in regards like where we're currently at in the game, because I did a lot of that on the previous stock taking episode. The one thing I will show is kind of engineering as you should have it at this point in the game. Now, you can see here, I have still got things to develop, like the habitat pods and, certain recreation facilities. But if your engineering looks like this at this point in the game, then you've pretty much got as much as you need to get. Like, you never have to bother doing any more improvements to the Argo and you'll be absolutely fine. What I'm kind of planning for is to try and get as much money as I can when I finish the game, so that I can fly to a certain point on the map, which I might do like another stock taking episode when I get there, just to show you where that is, because there's some amazing equipment that you can get, but you've got to finish the priority mission first. Now, if I can kind of go into that with like 15 to 20 million C-bills, then I can buy up some potential amazing like lost tech weaponry that will really stand me in good stead for the Flashpoint missions. So basically what I'm trying to say is, rather than channel money into the Argo for things that I don't need, I'm just keeping my C-bills back for the time being. Eventually I will improve everything. Like, as you get into the Flashpoint missions, you tend to get a hell of a lot of money for doing those missions, so you've got a lot of excess cash that you can burn at that point. But for now, I've got a bit of a larger plan going on. So, in terms of other stock taking aspects, we really don't have to go into the barracks today, because I've got my final kind of lineup for mech warriors, and I won't be getting any more mech warriors unless someone bites the bullet, which hopefully they won't. Captain's quarters, I mean, I can probably show you my absolute shame here, my 100% like faction, I don't know what you call it, like honour or goodwill, good karma, whatever else, with the Capellans. Said it before, I'll say it again though, if you can get into a place where you befriend the Capellans, then it does go a long ways for you to get extra money, because the Capellans have so many missions available out on the periphery. So yeah, it's kind of a means to an end. We are a little bit sheep in wolf in sheep clothing on this one though, because eventually I do intend on befriending either the Fed Sons or the Magistry of Canopus. I think they're the two best to ally with as you get into the Flashpoints. Lyrans and the Draconis Combine not so much, because they don't have space on the map. However, they've got this really weird thing, like if you go into the navigation screen, you'll find like this weird, like in a certain periphery power, it'll say like Cretan hub or something like that, and like if you do ally with them, that's where you can get the Carita star. It's a bit weird. So I'd kind of keep away from the Cretans and the Lyrans, because first of all there are less missions for them, and then you've got to find this weird space out on the periphery to buy stuff from them. So I think though you can really kind of make a case for any of the other Inner Sphere powers, whether it's Fed Sons, Capellans or Free Worlds League. I think if you want to play it on like uber easy mode, go Capellan, because the Capellans have the biggest part of this map on show. I could never bring myself to ally with the Capellans though, so it would absolutely have to be, I think, the Fed Sons or the Magistry of Canopus. I would actually also ally with the Free Worlds League and the Taurians, but the Free Worlds League are a little bit boring in this game. Like, they've just got like a little bit of the map and they're kind of outside of the action a little bit. And the Taurians, unfortunately, we can't really realistically ally with, because as you can see from this like list here, we are loathed with them because we are at war with them, or at least we are at war with them for a little bit of time. I think we're coming to a point where we're just about to give them some intel, which will stop that war. But unfortunately, that loathing never resets for the Merc unit. So when we go into the Flashpoint missions, we are still on like minus 100. So they absolutely despise us to a point where we can't actually do missions for them, and they won't sell to us in their store, which I think's really weird. Like, I really wish that they'd have built in like a neutralizer on that, so that you can then go into the Flashpoint missions with like a clean slate. Because technically, it wasn't our fault that we were dragged into a war that someone else manipulated. And it kind of ruins the ability for you to go into like that pretty chunky like Taurian territory to kind of do missions for them and buy in their stores and stuff. So it is what it is anyway. And the Magistry of Canopus kind of fill that void because they've got a really powerful like little empire on the map here. So if you befriend yourself with that periphery power, then you can get access to some really decent stores. Anyway, let's go into the mech bay and we can start to discuss today's topic, which is how to prep for the Flashpoint missions. Now, you see, things look slightly different from the last time I did this kind of like random stock taking episode, and I've now got most of my bays filled up. There's only one point actually free at the moment, so we've effectively got what I'd probably term like a reinforced company. In BattleTech, a company is 12 mechs and a battalion is 36 mechs, 3 companies. We can't get a battalion on this, unfortunately. I think they should have done that. It would have been nice if you could kind of keep 36 mechs on the books. Or at least 2 companies, that would have been nice. But a reinforced company, basically, 1.5 companies. We're coming up to that anyway. Shortly, no doubt, we will get that extra spare slot because at the end of the game, Kamea gives us she gives us her Atlas 2, basically. Spoilers. So that's kind of why I've kept that free anyway. So when we finish the game, we will have the full reinforced company. How I've kind of done this is, and I've done this purposefully, I really wanted to kind of run the priority games predominantly with heavy mechs, just to kind of show that heavy mechs in this game are absolutely amazing. A lot of them are amazing because they have those like inbuilt components in them, like the Warhammer has that component which gives you extra damage to energy weapons, or the Archer has that Missile suite which gives like bonuses to your missiles. Very few of the assault mechs have those. The Annihilator has an equivalent mod for ballistic damage, which makes it an absolute amazing mech. There are others as well, like the Cyclops has electronics in there, but generally I think the mainstay of the really, really good electronics are in the heavy mechs. Medium and lights have some as well. I'll show one of those in a moment, but I think the heavy mechs are really where it's at in terms of that, like those little like bonuses that you get from electronics. And I purposely did that. I purposely didn't go hunting for assault mechs or buying assault mechs because I wanted to basically finish the game predominantly with heavies. If you've been watching the previous episodes, you'll know that I actually got gifted the Highlander, which is the assault mech, and I managed to get the Battlemaster through salvage. So I kind of got those just through like luck. Well, not luck. I mean, the Highlander's part of the core game, but the Battlemaster was luck. All the other mechs I've kind of either chased or bought on the heavy side of things. And that was very purposeful. I did see a guy play this game through who I only got like a little bit into it because it is very long, and he was kind of playing it where he was showing everything, which is like a real commitment. That's like hours and hours of footage. But he was trying to finish the game using light mechs. I love that idea. Like, it's so like challenging, I think, to do that. But I watched a few episodes, and he really knew what he was doing. Like he would like paper thin his armor for LRM spam mechs, and then basically keep his like LRM platforms right at the back where they had no danger of being touched. So they basically just had their internal structure. So if they got hit at all, they basically just pop. But that's kind of a good way to play the LRM spam because it means you can get so many more missiles on there. I never play like that. I am pretty obsessed with armor. Like, I always play like an abundance of armor on mechs, even on like the LRM spammers. Like, if we look at the catapult here, you can see its durability is still really quite comparatively high with that 960 armor ratio. And it is purely an LRM spam mech, so I could technically take off most of its armor and probably fit like another 20-25 missiles on there. But again, I like to play the game a little bit more direct, but using kind of the LRM platform as to get the enemy out of position and to give them structural damage, and that sometimes means that I want to go a little bit closer to the opposition as opposed to having them sat like behind a hill just like pewing off missiles. Though the latter there is absolutely a viable tactic in this game, and you can have massive success doing that. It's just a little bit outside of my style. So like that guy was trying to do this through light mechs, I've kind of been trying to do this predominantly through heavy and mediums. Not entirely, obviously, and I've completely, that kind of flew out of the window when I got the Highlander. Just because the Highlander's so convenient, and if you get like a decent mech warrior who can shoot, then you can just like headshot mechs and get more salvage. So it's kind of sped the game up a little bit for me using the Highlander. Battlemaster, same thing as well. Like having that UAC 20 double plus on there is such a great insurance policy. But I'd still say that I've predominantly tried to stick to heavy and medium mechs across this game. So that's where we're currently at in terms of like the main loadout. But if we go to Bay 3 here, you can see that we've got 6 mechs now on the books, and it's 6 mechs under 55 ton, more specifically between 45 and 55 tons. So why have I done this? Well, shortly, in fact, after this, there'll be 2 more episodes in the priority missions. But after that, the Flashpoint missions will start appearing on the map. They are time sensitive, so you only have it will say you have 100 days to get to this system and do the mission, something like that. And when you get there, you'll often find that there are tonnage restrictions on your particular mission. Now, I really like that. I'm a big fan of tonnage restrictions on the caveat that it's done correctly. A good example of it not being done correctly, I think, is in the new MechWarrior 5 game, where someone had to mod a 0 tonnage restriction feature in there because it was just so difficult to kind of get or to do some of the missions without getting absolutely wrecked, because the game would just kind of spam vehicles and turrets and mechs at you, and it just becomes really, really grindy. Now, again, I play without tonnage restrictions on MechWarrior 5 because of that reason, but on this game, I actually think they did the tonnage restrictions very, very good. I don't recall ever doing a tonnage restriction mission that was ridiculously difficult. There are some that are challenging for sure, but that's obviously a good thing. But it stays away from just being oh yeah, you've got restricted tonnage and we're going to put an assault lance against you that are just going to absolutely rip you apart. That, to my knowledge, never happens in this game. So to that end, I really, really do like the tonnage restriction rule. The tonnage restriction rules are varied, so you get different kinds. But the 2 ones that you come across the most say the following. The first one is that you aren't allowed to take any mech heavier than 60 tons. So there's no actual tonnage restriction on there, but you can only bring mechs. For instance, you could bring 4 dragons at 60 ton, or you could bring 2 quick draws and 2 locusts, something like that. So as long as your mechs aren't in excess of the 60 ton ratio, then you can do that. The most common one, though, is one that says you are allowed to bring 4 mechs. The total tonnage limit is 200 tons, and no mech can weigh over 55 tons. That's the most common, and it's the one to kind of build your lances around when you're thinking about weight restrictions in this game, for the simple reason that the 55 ton mechs in BattleTech are really kind of special mechs. I'm talking about things like the 2 on show there, the Wolverine and the Kintaro. In this game, there's the Shadowhawk as well, although the Shadowhawk is it's an okay mech. It's good in this game, but I think if you're playing tabletop, the Shadowhawk's a little bit weird. It's got a weird weapons loadout. There's also the Griffin. You can actually get a variant of the Griffin that's the Star League Griffin in this. I believe it's the 2N off the top of my head. One of the best mechs in the game. So 55 tonners are something that you can easily use those in those 60 ton restrictive missions, and you'll be absolutely fine, because I'll put it to this, I'll put money on the fact that statistically every single 55 ton mech in this game is way better than the 60 ton mechs. The Wolverine, the Kintaro are just far superior to things like the Dragon, the Quick Draw, Rifleman's actually not so bad, but for sure, like the Wolverine, the Kintaro, the Griffin can just be run so much more effectively. Like they're much more manoeuvrable. They still have really decent weapon loadout, like tonnage space. So my wider point is plan for that weight restriction where it's saying you can have the 4 mechs up to 55 tons. That's what I'd absolutely advise you do. Now, if you just do some basic math on that, then you can kind of say, well, to optimize a lance, then you're going to need mechs that are 55 tons, 50 tons, and 45 tons. So, for instance, I could run the two 55-ton mechs here, that's 110 tons, and then the two 45-ton mechs, that's 90 tons, which is a total of 200. So you can do it in any other way you want, though. For instance, if you want to get creative with it, you can, I mean, I've done this before as well, you can bring like the equivalent of like the Lost Tech Irby mech. So the 30-ton Irby mech, you can strap like a UAC 20 double plus on there and have some fun. But I'm playing this obviously as a recording and trying to kind of optimize things in terms of like the gameplay. So I've gone for what I'd call like a traditional loadout for that tonnage restriction, which is to keep everything around, you know, 255 tons, 250 tons, and 245 tons. I've kind of got two traditional tanks here with the Kintaro and the Hunchback. I'm not going to show loadouts on this. We'll do that when we get into the Flashpoints. But the Kintaro is basically the armor shaver. It's just an SRM platform, and the Hunchback is I think at the moment's got a UAC 10 on there, so that's like the finisher mech. The other 4 mechs are all jump capable, but I like that. Even if, like on certain missions, I'll only maybe bring one tank. So I might only bring the Hunchback or the Kintaro, and then I'll build 3 like more manoeuvrable jumping mechs around that. So that's all you have to do. That's what you have to think about when you're kind of getting into the Flashpoints. Make sure that you have those mechs on the books. Don't sell them. That's the temptation. Like, and I've sold some of the mechs. Like I had a Griffin that I sold. I sold the original Shadowhawk. Because in the knowledge that, like, you know, when I started to pick things up, like I got the Wolverine, I got the Kintaro just through like salvage, I knew at that point I'm not going to bring like the Griffin and the Shadowhawk back. So that's when I sell it. But just make sure that you have, I'd say, at least 6 mechs that you can go into the Flashpoints with those tonnage restrictions in mind. If you don't do that, you're going to come a cropper because you won't actually be able to do the mission, which is obviously problematic. In terms of how the Flashpoint works, I think that even if you kind of mess up a mission, so if you fail a mission or you run out of time, it eventually like manifests itself back on the map again. So it doesn't mean that you can't do it, it just kind of disappears. My intention going into the Flashpoint, and I don't know why I've decided this, but it will be to do everything like time effectively. I want to challenge myself to see if I can do that. I'm not sure if it even can be done because I've only played through the Flashpoints once before, and I distinctly remember failing one of them quite badly as well. So like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but that is my intention to try and do that. But I think even if I do mess one up, obviously I will kind of, you know, go and like do it at a future date and then record it again or whatever. Right, I think that's it anyway, so let's get into the command centre and do today's, what should be a pretty fun mission. Should be fun for 2 reasons. It's called Pincer. Now, Pincer is, unlike when the mission's called Tag Team, where like it's very obvious you're going to be with a like an allied lance. Pincer's similar because the pincer movement means, you know, coming from 2 directions. So, yeah, okay, you know, if you read the text here, it does say in the last paragraph here, the last sentence, we'll be sending a lance of our own along on this mission. So we will be getting an Arano Restoration lance accompanying us. We are in urban as well, which is great because the urban maps in this game are very, very fun. It's a 4-skull mission as well, so it should be quite challenging. However, we do have allies today, so let's go ahead and negotiate. I'm actually going to... I don't think I'll max out salvage. I think I'll get 1 point of payment. So that's 4 pieces of salvage that we can choose ourselves, and then a little bit of cash there, just to kind of up our Seabill level as we're getting into the latter part of this playthrough. So, in terms of our lance today, we're going to bring all our big hitters. So it will be the Highlander with Oculus. It will be the Battlemaster Hans with... Let's put Lady Death Lotus in the Battlemaster today. Next up, we need a we need a mech that can shave some armour off. So I think we'll go for the Black Knight today. We're in the urban area, so there's no benefits or penalties to heat, so he should be okay. We'll put let's put Bear in the Black Knight. He has the actual skill now of the coolant vent. Coolant vent is really, really good. It basically sinks all your heat off. There's a payment to it though, like you do have to wait. What does it say there? You have to wait 4 rounds to get complete cooldown, and to that end you then gain a little bit of heat on those 4 turns. That's presumably because what you're doing with this maneuver is you're basically like pumping the coolant into the mech, which you're not supposed to do. So that will give you that bonus of cooling the mech, but then you've lost the coolant, which presumably the heat sinks will like regenerate themselves, or I don't know. It's obviously advanced technology that we don't understand, so something then happens. But because they've lost that like coolant buff, or that excess in coolant, it's then they can't do their job properly for 4 turns. But what that does mean is you basically can get like a free alpha strike, and it's very, very useful actually on mechs that generate a lot of heat. I should actually talk about these final skills because I don't think I've ever discussed them. I've discussed like all the first lots of 2 that you can get. Luckily as well, I think all the mechs that I have today maybe have these final skills. So I'll talk about them quickly. So Lady Deathlock herself, Ace Pilot. Ace Pilot is probably the weakest of the skills that you can get. Or I'll put it this way, I've never really like found a way to use it like that makes a massive difference, but it basically means that your mech can move after shooting. Now, that can be useful. Obviously, you can kind of get out of the fire zone, or you get like some evasion pips, or you can get into cover. So I'm not saying it's useless, but I don't think it's any like it's not like what we're going to talk about next, which is Breaching Shot. Breaching Shot is amazing, and it's especially amazing on a mech warrior like Oculus. With the Highlander, with like the Gauss rifle, because you see here, attacks with a single weapon ignore cover and guarded on the unit. So that means that even if like an opponent is in the trees, they won't get the benefit of it, which is incredible. Important to note though, it only applies to weapons that have that one shot. So a Gauss rifle gets it, an LRM does not get it. One important note to make here actually on the Highlander is I have swapped out the LBX 2 for the UAC double plus. I've done it for that reason, for the breaching shot, because the UAC2 gets that bonus, but the LBX weapon doesn't. At least I think the UAC does. It should technically count as 2 single shots, as opposed to the LBX, which is like a shotgun. I'm kind of saying that off the... I just presumed it did account, even though the UAC could technically be seen as a multi-shot weapon. I don't think it will be. I think it's kind of got a special rule of its own. And then finally, I want a jump-capable mech, really. And I think I'm actually going to bring the Catapult today, because the Catapult is an LRM spam and very, very useful to have. And let's put Boudica in there today for the main reason as well that she has got the final skill on the tree here, and that's Master Tactician. This basically is really, really strong. You can see mechs piloted by this mech warrior gain +1 initiative and remove 1 bar of stability damage when reserving. I very rarely reserve. If you are, I'll tell you why they put that in there in a second. What we'll talk about though, where it applies to this mech, is on the +1 initiative. So that means that if you're in a heavy mech, it basically runs with the mediums, and that's obviously very strong. It's especially strong for if you're doing something like a Catapult, which has got the LRM spam. The reserve bonus is if you have a somebody with this skill in a light mech. Obviously, they wouldn't get the bonus from this, or they might, like, I've never tried it, they might get like in the 5th column. There are like 5 initiative points. It's 4 for light, 3 for medium, 2 for heavy, and 1 for assault. So you may go up into 5, so you may get that bonus, but then you also get the added bonus, because usually light mechs are the ones that reserve, that if you do reserve, then you get rid of that stability damage, which is really beneficial for a reserving mech, because you probably are going to take a little bit more flak before you can move. So that's good, but it's not something I in my entire time playing this game, I think I've maybe reserved like 3 times. So it's the initiative point that I really want. So let's go ahead and get into this. And we're looking for some nice levels of salvage today. I do have 3 points of an Annihilator. So I'm looking for 1 point of an Annihilator, and we have the old Cthulhu beast himself. But I'd obviously have to be very, very lucky to get that. But on a 4-skull mission, it's absolutely possible. The chances are you'll probably get like 2 or 3 like medium heavy, a couple of assaults thrown at you. Especially because we've got obviously 8 mechs on our side, so this will be a bit of a crazy situation, like a real war amongst the city here with like multiple mechs firing from all directions. So it should be quite fun, and I certainly do think like the pincer and the tag team missions are the best in this, or the best random missions in this game. It's kind of how BattleTech at its best, when you've just got like mechs galore fighting, especially like in this one over a city. That's pretty cool. So here we are, and this is our. I've just noticed as well. All my mech warriors are like the initial Dust Counter, or the initial characters from the Dust Counters. So that's fun as well. This is the target area commander. Okay, we won't bother reading that. And so Kamea has actually authorised use of Regan mechs as well. So let's see what we've got here. It looks like they've got a horrible K2 catapult. Ugh. Pretty good Landsat though, apart from that. We've got the 2 Archer 2Rs, so that's some big LRM spam. We've got a quick draw, which is terrible, and a catapult K2, which is actually okay. I mean, it's a double PPC dealer, so it's not terrible, but it's not anything like as good as the C4 or the C1 that exist in this game. Now, where are we coming from? So we've got one of our missionary objectives here is to make sure that at least one of the restorations survive, and we've got destroy Taurian lands, which are going to appear over here. I'd imagine as well they will get reinforcements, so you'll probably find another Taurian lance coming into play at some point. Now you've got to be slightly careful during your like tag teaming missions, because for whatever reason the AI very rarely tends to sprint after it sees the enemy. So you can see they've just done it there. Like the quick draw sprinted, and then everyone else just meanders across. So you've got to be slightly careful. You don't want to run right up to the enemy, because otherwise you'll be the one that takes all the damage. Now in the cities it's quite easy to kind of get around this. You basically just have to kind of look for clues in the title on this game as well. Look for a pincer movement. So I'm actually going to like not chicken out. I'm going to make them work for their money today. So I will probably, rather than kind of going up the centre here, I'm going to allow my guys or my allies to kind of get into like some kind of skirmishing in this area, and then I'm going to come around the other side and hopefully get them in a pincer movement. If we go up the centre here, we'll just have this massive like melee on this section, and the chances are, because I'm a bit gung-ho, I'll get into fights a lot sooner than they will, and they won't give me any kind of the advantage of having allies on the map with me. So instead I'm just going to run everybody up this road. If they start to see the opposition as well, I can do some LRM spamming, and I can potentially do some jumping on the buildings to kind of get some visibility, so that I can like rain down with like a Gauss rifle or the UAC 2++. So they're bringing the quick draw quickly into the fight here. The quick draw is or should have jump jets on it. You can see again they're just messing around, like just entrenching and meandering up, and you have got to be careful of that, because I have no idea what the opposition has got. Like they might have a lance full of assault mechs, and I'd rather my allies get chewed up than me, to be honest, given that I'm not paying for their repairs. And if they're going to play that way where they're not sprinting, then no, they're going to have to work for their money today. And we have got some reinforcements coming, but they'll probably come over the next 2 turns, and they're quite far away, so we don't have to worry about them just yet. Boudica, I'm actually going to jump, I think, just kind of keep her a little bit closer to the action so she can LRM spam. Might even do a cheeky sensor lock here. We've got 2 70-tonners. So it's a Warhammer. They look relatively well armoured as well. I don't think they've got full armour, but they should be able to use their archers now to spam this guy. Or if they've got any sense, they'll do that. That's sometimes slightly lacking though with this game. Um, just having a look at the topography. It'll take us about 5 or 6 turns to get right round. I am going to do it though. Like, I really don't want to go head to head with that lance. I'll kind of come round when we are needed. They've got big mechs as well. Like, those archers will last a long time. And they've got a cheeky C4 catapult there, so that's got a lot of LRM. Targeting the quick draw. This might hurt the building below him. Yeah, you want to get off that building. You can actually use that as a tactic. You can blow the building up below a mech, and the mech will come crashing down and do lots of leg damage. And this is exactly what I hope they do. They're using the archers to LRM spam. That building's going to collapse. No, not yet. Maybe now. Are you going? It does look pretty impressive when they when the buildings get destroyed. Actually, I don't know if I want to go all the way around there. I don't think there's anything too threatening here. It's 2 Warhammers. What I might do instead is I might leave my big mechs actually just in this wooded area, and then use my jumpy mechs to just do some like flak damage to the enemy. I think that's more sensible. I'm also not that worried because the they are listed as makeshift, so they only have 75% of their usual armor. So yeah, I think we won't actually run all the way around. I think that will take too long. Instead, I'll hang back and I'll let my guys do some LRM spamming with those archers. Reinforcements are now coming in. I think if there was another road that I could get up quicker, like if I could do it in 3 or 4 turns, I'd do it. But I think it's going to take me about 6 turns, which is probably just a little bit too long. We're into the structure already on that Warhammer. Mina now, so I think we are just going to sit back with good old Mina and just LRM spam these guys. Nice. Got a head hit there as well. And the quick draw is very foolishly not jumped off that building, which means when that catapult inevitably LRM spams him, that building will go bye-bye because it won't have much structural integrity left. 13, there you can see. So any stray shots here could be devastating for him. Oh, and he's kind of come right into our vicinity there. I'm just going to... excuse me. I'll run Charles back here just with that intention of maybe trying to pull some of them down into this area, and I can kind of create a kill zone off the main zone. Which is where the reinforcements are coming. Got a frog in my throat there. Okay, that building is going. Bye-bye, building. Yep. Yeah, jumping on the buildings is a really good tactic, but you've really got to choose your time. And that quick draw is being absolutely smashed to pieces now. Although it is their worst mech, so who cares? Nice. Decent PPC shots there on the catapult. What have we got coming up here now? We've got a 65 tonner and a 45 tonner. So it doesn't look like we're going to get any 100 tonners today, which is slightly disappointing. Oculus, you can start to jump and fire now. So which hopefully will absolutely take the wrecking ball of this catapult. I don't think he was expecting that. Got some lovely ammo explosions there. Just going to hold my big boys back. I'm going to hold that Black Knight and Battlemaster back until they're really needed. More than happy to just kind of do some like spam-esque attacks here with the LRMs, and just with the Highlander doing some harassing. We've got a good mixed lance actually. Those archers plus my catapult plus the Highlander are going to make it really tough for the opposition. We've kind of corralled them into that centre now, and we can just keep like barraging them. Knocked that guy down as well, which is a good sign. So is that a blackjack there? Little BJ1. we might finish this catapult off now. I think we'll go for the centre torso here, see if we can just finish him off. Nice. Kind of hoping we get 3 lances thrown at us, just for like max salvage. Very comfortable with this mission, actually. I'm pretty good at urban warfare, because it kind of suits my style. Like I like jump capable mechs, and jump capable mechs are very, very strong in urban settings. I kind of understand enough about the tactics as well of BattleTech to really kind of get like a good level of understand how to kind of use the buildings to your advantage, to use them as cover, and then to use like LRMs and long range weaponry to finish off the opposition. So that was one Warhammer destroyed there as well. So there is now just a catapult, and I think that's another Warhammer there, is it? Archer's getting chewed up, which isn't great. But they really have exposed themselves quite badly here down the centre. I'm glad that I stayed back though, because my allies are now right in the thick of it, which is exactly what I wanted, because I need them to kind of help me out. If they're just hanging back, especially with those archers, because they tend just to kind of stay behind buildings and LRM spam, I kind of need them in the thick of it, you know, drawing fire and doing like maximum attacks, things like that. Now, I think we can probably afford to pop out here. So we've got full resolve, so I'll do a precision strike on this Warhammer. And that's going to hurt him. Yeah, he's absolutely smashed to pieces there. He's lost one of his PPCs. His centre armour will be pretty chewed up as well. So he's pretty brutal, is urban warfare in BattleTech. It's just like you just survive if you can type of situation, really. Just because you can get so like outmaneuvered quite easily, so you've got to like pick your battles. It's difficult as well to kind of have a centre, because you've got different streets like intersecting where people can like outflank you quite easily. That's why jump jets are so good in urban warfare. Definitely worth doing, especially like the LRM spam. Really useful in this particular setting. I'd say as well that you know, if you wanted to bring, like, if I had like the Archer on show, I could have quite easily brought like an LRM, you know, like a full missile unit. But I think the catapult is definitely more superior than the Archer in this, because it's got the full like, you know, well, it's basically got 40 LRMs that it can use, whereas the Archer's only got 30, as I've currently got it building. I've currently got it built, sorry. Trouble with English today. He's overheated his Archer there, which is slightly silly. He really didn't need to do that. He's definitely going to lose a mech or two, I think. His quick draw is really badly beaten up as well. But we're still kind of holding the flag quite strong here. Just manage a bit of heat there. I think we should be able to take this guy out now. There we go. So that's the first wave. The secondary wave up next. There may even be a third in this mission. Don't think they've got anything here to really worry us. They've got a dragon, a thunderbolt, and a blackjack. Presume there's something else as well. One fun thing to do when you're on the urban like landscape is to have a look at all the weird things, like the building signs and the statues and stuff like that. It's one reason why I love BattleTech. I mean, I won't be able to find them here, but you'll find like companies that exist today. Like you'll find like General Motors signs up in certain places. There's a lot going on in these signs. I mean, I've had a good look. Oh, is that a General Motors there? Yep, there we are. General Motors of Cathil. Canopus Delights. So that's a reference to the Canopians there. God knows what that's advertising. I did see a statue as well, and I bet you that is the good old Kerensky, which it kind of, yeah, bold. I think that might be Kerensky there. We can't see any name plaques, obviously, but I'd put money on that being Kerensky. Right, let's... Just going to see what we can do in terms of direct fire, because we'll get a better percentage. Ooh, that's nice. We'll go for the blackjack. These guys seem to be better armoured. Are they? No, they're not. They're still at 75%. Oh, sorry, I'm attacking with the Highlander there, aren't I? I thought I was attacking with the catapult. Doesn't matter. Still did mass damage to him and took a building out in the process, which is collateral damage to the extreme there. I'm going to sprint the Battlemaster into these woods. He's going to pop out over the next couple of turns and use his big UAC 20 cannon. And the Blackjack is toast. So we've got 2 dragons and a thunderbolt. Put you in the trees as well, and let's target this dragon. It's kind of the closest, so see if we can get into his structure. Not quite, but we've made him unsteady. There are little things as well that are good to know before you go into the urban missions. Like there are some buildings that have got explosive qualities. I think we passed one down here. I think this is one of them. Yeah, the electrical transformer. It gives you an explosion warning on there. It's kind of weird. Like, yeah, if you blow it up, anything in proximity of it will get really badly damaged. But I think the fallout from it, I think you can kind of sit in it and you can basically use it as like trees. Like it basically throws the sensors off anyone trying to shoot at you. There's another cool one as well. It might not appear on this particular map, but you can get like coolant. Like storage, so you can basically use that as water, and it's actually better than water. So it's like this big green sludge that you can sit your mech in to get like coolant bonuses. So that's why the urban missions are so fun. It is DLC though, so if you do want the urban missions, you will have to buy it. I don't think it's too expensive. I'm guessing it's like £10-15 or dollars, something like that. I don't think it'll be much more than that. I got really lucky in this game because I bought it when they were I got it literally. I got everything for like $20 or something. It was a time where they were just kind of selling it off, and that was including of all the DLC. So, considering the amount of hours that I've got out of this game, it's probably like the best game purchase I've ever made. That quick draw isn't long for the world. I mean, he really should have kind of fallen in back, but obviously a brave mech warrior there. And he's on the building again, which means if the building gets destroyed, he's going to lose both his legs. Yeah, look at the 3 armor left on his legs. So yeah, he is absolutely toast, that poor guy. Right, I think we can afford to break out now. So let's just run up here with Hans. Try support our allies. Nice. We got at least one shot there, so we got into the Thunderbolt's structure. And then Oculus can do something similar. Go for the leg this time, why not? That's the entire right side of that Thunderbolt decimated. Knocked him down as well, so we can get precision shots on him, or the allies will be able to get precision shots on him. Which they're doing, which is smart. And he's overheated again with an archer. Not the most sensible move, really. Now, your armour is very chewed up, so let's do a little cheeky mix, or multi-shot here. There goes the Thunderbolt. Let's chew the dragon up a little bit more. Nice. Ooh, LRM explosion. Good shooting, Boudica. Kind of hoping for a third lance. I don't think we're going to get it though. This guy must be dead. He's not dead. He's still staying in the game, this guy. Very brave chap. Oh no, we won't do a precision strike there because we can only shoot with 2 of our weapons. Slightly disappointed at the level of mech we've had thrown at us here. I really hoped we'd get some assault mechs. But never mind. Such is life. Has he fallen back now with his quick draw? Thank goodness. It'd be nice if you don't just charge your mech warrior into certain death. I've not used the ace pilot, I've just realised. I'm not sure if it'll allow you to move a little bit and then you can shoot and then move your excess value. I'll tell you what, let's try it now. Let's see if we can shoot at this guy, and then it should allow us to move after we've fired. I just want to test this because I very rarely use ace. Oh, okay, maybe not. Or maybe we changed direction. Is that why? I'm not sure. I kind of need to have a look and see how that actually works. You're 2 left on the centre torso, so let's just, I think, one LRM-10 should be more than enough to take that chap out.
Engaging multiple targets.
Yep. Oh, come on. I'm hoping for it saying there's a third lance that you've got to destroy, and it's a lance full of annihilators. That would be awesome. Dragon's getting badly smashed up there. His heat management is absolutely appalling. There's just no need for it. Left torso destroyed. LRM-10 destroyed. And hopefully they'll get a killing shot. Oh, no. Fair enough. And good old Charlie Bear, Bear in Charles here. Should finish this guy off relatively easily. I think that'll be it. I don't think we're going to get a third lance. Oh, he's still in the game, but I don't think he's got any weapons left. Just LRM spamming. Oh, is the quick draw going to get the kill? Yay, that was good. He used him wisely. He kind of got him back when he really needed to get back, or he'd get popped, and then at least brought him into the fight when he was guaranteed the kill. Yeah, I really wanted more in that one. I really wanted some assault mechs thrown at us, but such is life. I don't know why it was listed at a 4 skull. That's absolutely not a 4 skull mission. That was a 3 at most. I kind of like they do that though. I think it's like almost like PR, like the people employing you don't really know, so it kind of adds a little bit of spice. Like sometimes I've done like 2 skull missions that are clearly like 3.5 skull missions, so it gives a little bit of like extra like anxiety to the game. Got over 500,000 Seabills, which is nice, and we should get tons of salvage here. So let's pray for some plus weaponry. So I'm not bothered about any of the mechs. Ooh, nice. So we've got M laser treble plus, M laser double plus, another M laser double plus. We got some arm mods as well, which are good. Oh, it weighs a ton. Does this one weigh? Yes. I really don't like the mods that weigh tonnage. It really annoys me. Oh, and unfortunately there's nothing else in there. That's frustrating. Oh, quite disappointed now. Do you know, I'm going to contradict myself completely now. I might actually take the 60 melee damage arm mod. Because occasionally you do get a situation where if through like heat management or it's a certain mech that you just want to kind of use as a big pummeler, it is sometimes worth that tonnage on like an assault mech. It's very rare that happens though, and they do take up a lot of slots. He takes up 6 slots, so it's only going to be useful on like very, very specific mechs that I'm running in a certain way. For instance, I could use it on my Thunderbolt, because my Thunderbolt is there as a shutdown mech. So I could like strip its remainder weapons off and just use it predominantly as a punchy like Inferno rocket flamer. So I'll take one. I'll take the 60 ton one just in case I ever want to do something silly like that. And they're expensive as well. I mean, they're worth, what's this? Yeah, 240,000, and you don't find them very often in the stores. We've got a ton of mechs there as well to sell. So that was a very lucrative mission, if nothing else. And that's it, I think. 2 more priority missions left. I'm literally going to fly to Tyrolon, I think it's on Tyrolon now, and do priority mission 11. And then I am going to call it a day, because that will be my 4th recording of the day. And then when I'm nice and fresh, I will then do the final priority mission. Got something a bit like special lined up for the final mission. I've kind of built it in a little bit to like narrative play, so I'm going to like use split forces and impose some like rules on myself for when I'm running the lances. So I'm quite looking forward to do that one. Hopefully it will mean something, given that I've kind of constantly spoken about the mech warriors that I've got on the books. So when I'm kind of playing certain mech warriors, you'll know who those characters are if you've watched previous playthroughs. It's the reason why I canned all the stock characters and basically got my own recruits and built them up so that I could do something with narrative, almost like a role-playing element to this game, which you can absolutely do. I'd really advise you do that. You have a much better time doing it, and it actually means something to you if your mech warriors get killed. Like, you will be genuinely upset if you lose like an amazing mech warrior, especially on Ironman mode, because there's no going backsies. So you can't just kind of think, oh, you know, I'll just go to my previous save point. You can't do that. If someone dies, that's it, they're dead. If you fail a mission, you failed it, that's it. So it ups the stakes a little bit, gives you a little bit more of an emotional investment. Anyway, I think I'll end it on that note, so I'll hopefully catch you next time. And here on to Tyrolun and the liberation of the Oregon Reach. And I'll hopefully catch you again in the next episode.